He's not going to pull the trigger. He might not even pay someone to do so, but like releasing that song Who Shot You, that creates an atmosphere, creating certain things and planting seeds in somebody else's mind to be number one, where Tupac ends up getting killed, Biggie ends up being killed. Who becomes number one? P. Diddy, Puff Daddy. Could that have been tactics for then to take off the people who were competition for him to take it all? Or is that a bit far-fetched?
Well, I'm trying to believe that he's not that bright. But anything's possible. I was told this, that it wasn't only a driver that shot Tupac, or if it was a driver who shot Tupac. You know, you hear a lot of stories like, I thought it was Dre, I thought they was in the car, but then I also thought, because I was told by somebody who was there, that somebody ran up on the car and shot Tupac. And I never told nobody. I told 3 or 4 people, but I never let them release that to anybody or tell, you can't tell nobody that.
Chili, the murder of Christopher Wallace, y'all know him as the Notorious B.I.G, still got the music world shook nearly 3 decades later. Despite all these investigations and endless tea-spilling theories, this case is still as unsolved as your cousin's Rubik's Cube. Now, let's rewind to that tragic night, March 9th, 1997. Biggie was gunned down in a cold-blooded drive-by in L.A., right after turning up at a Vibe magazine after-party at the Petersen Automotive Museum. Fast forward to today, and a new docu, Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, just dropped on Peacock, stirring up the pot again. This film dives into the meteoric rise and messy controversies of Sean Diddy Combs, Biggie's mentor and the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records. But baby, here's where it gets spicy. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, is out here spilling major tea, hinting that Diddy might have had ties to Biggie's tragic end. Now, Gene ain't just any old source. He was in Diddy's corner for over a decade, and the claims he's making are enough to make anyone clutch their pearls. According to Gene, Diddy was acting all kinds of funny in the days leading up to Biggie's murder. The tension was real, y'all. He claims Diddy was extra pressed about Biggie showing up to that Vibe party, even though Big had plans to jet off to London. Something about that insistence just didn't sit right, especially with the East Coast versus West Coast beef hotter than fish grease at the time. Gene even remembers getting a random last-minute call to prep for the event. No security details, no nothing. It had him giving major side-eye vibes, and honestly, who could blame him? Baby, the fallout from that Bad Boy versus Death Row beef was no joke, and folks knew hitting up that party was a straight-up risk. Just 6 months after Tupac Shakur was tragically taken out, the hip-hop world was on high alert. Tensions were so thick you could cut them with a butter knife, and stepping out in public? Whew, it was like playing with fire. That fateful night unfolded faster than a plot twist on a soap opera. After leaving the Vibe party, Deal and Diddy hopped in one car, while Biggie rolled solo in his GMC Suburban. On their way to another after-party, chaos erupted. Gunfire lit up the night. Biggie's SUV was riddled with bullets, and Deal swears it was no random act, it was targeted. Even in the madness, Deal says he did everything to keep Biggie awake, telling everyone, "Talk to him, don't let him fade." But honey, when the injuries are that bad, there's only so much you can do. They rushed Biggie to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center just minutes away, but Deal described the ride as pure agony, full of helplessness and heartbreak. Less than an hour after they arrived, the unthinkable happened. Biggie was gone, just like that. The shock hit everyone like a ton of bricks. Diddy, baby, Deal says he was shook, looking like he couldn't believe what had just gone down. In the documentary, Deal spills that Diddy's moves in the days leading up to Biggie's death deserve a closer look. And honestly, with everything going on, you can't help but wonder if there's more to the story than we've been told. Now, let's be clear. Gene Deal didn't outright accuse Diddy of pulling the strings, but he sure did hint that some of Diddy's decisions might have led to Biggie's tragic fate. Deal points to Diddy's dead-set insistence on showing up to that party, even after folks were waving all kinds of red flags about the dangers. And baby, let's not forget the lack of proper security. Like, who does that in the middle of all this drama? Naturally, these revelations got everybody side-eyeing Diddy, wondering if there's more to his role than he's letting on. Deal's T carries weight because he was this close to Diddy for years, so his claims hit different. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still no hard evidence tying Diddy directly to the tragedy. Of course, Diddy has always denied having anything to do with the murders of Biggie or Tupac. His legal team has been quick to call these latest allegations pure nonsense, waving them off as baseless. Now, the documentary? It's careful not to point fingers too hard. The producers say their goal was to let people speak their truths, not to serve up definitive answers. But, whew, the timing couldn't be messier for Diddy, who's already locked up and fighting serious federal charges for sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. Deal's claims? They're just adding more fuel to an already blazing PR fire for Diddy. And let's not forget the mess this drama could stir up with Diddy's upcoming trial. Jury selection might be a whole circus now, thanks to all this noise. Biggie's murder happened at the height of that wild East Coast versus West Coast beef, where Diddy's Bad Boy Records was going toe-to-toe with Suge Knight's Death Row Records. This feud? It had the streets hot, and with Tupac Shakur's murder in September '96, the hip-hop world was already walking on eggshells. Over the years, plenty of theories about Biggie's death have been flying around. Some folks think it was revenge for Tupac's murder, possibly pulled off by people linked to Death Row. Others are pointing fingers directly at Suge Knight, saying he may have teamed up with dirty LAPD cops to take Biggie out. Now, with Deal throwing Diddy's name into the mix, the plot just keeps thickening. But here's where it gets really messy. Deal's claims clash with earlier reports, like that infamous FBI file, which suggested Biggie wasn't even the target. Diddy was. That right there shows just how murky this case is, wrapped up in decades of speculation and hearsay. When Biggie was killed, it hit the world like a tidal wave. At only 24, he'd already solidified his spot as one of hip-hop's undisputed GOATs. Tracks like Mo Money Mo Problems and Hypnotize are still fire, and his legacy remains untouchable. Biggie's funeral in Brooklyn? It was a whole moment. Proof that his impact on the culture is eternal. Biggie's funeral? Oh, it was a whole event. Thousands showed up, packing Brooklyn's streets to say goodbye, proving just how deeply he touched fans and the culture alike. For Diddy, this loss wasn't just personal, it was career-shaking. As Biggie's mentor and right-hand man, Diddy's success was tightly intertwined with his protégé's rise. After Biggie's death, Diddy dropped that iconic tribute single, I'll Be Missing You. Baby, that track wasn't just a hit, it was a global anthem and sealed Diddy's role as Biggie's legacy keeper. But even now, decades later, Biggie's murder still fascinates and frustrates the world. With no arrests, no definitive answers, and a million rumors floating around, the case has become hip-hop's most infamous whodunit. Gene Deal's claims? Phew, they're spicy, but they still don't serve up the hard receipts we need to solve this puzzle. Critics are side-eyeing Deal's timing, too. Like, why wait this long? Plus, no law enforcement or witnesses have backed up his story. It's giving too little, too late, and people are questioning if his motives are as pure as he wants us to believe. Still, Deal's tea has reignited the flames. His perspective is unique, no doubt, but let's be real. It raises way more questions than it answers. Was Diddy's behavior just bad judgment? Or does it hint at something deeper? And let's not even start on the other wild theories. Was it the East Coast versus West Coast beef? A betrayal from someone close? Or is there a whole other layer to this drama we haven't even scratched yet? One thing's for sure. This case is staying locked in the vault of hip-hop's biggest mysteries. The truth might be out there, but until it shows up, all we can do is connect the dots, sip the tea, and keep the conversation alive. What do y'all think? Did Deal's story flip the script for you? Or is there more to this saga than we're being told? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all.